Move on to our final topic, and let's get into this RuPaul's Drag Race recap. Um, so the last episode that we came in on was Acacia Forgot, basically landing him in the bottom, and Corey King was in the bottom again. I believe wasn't it the second time that Corey King was in the bottom? So yeah, I think between the both of them, that was actually their second time. And then of course, Corey King sent Acacia home. So then we already talked about how Sam Starr took the top prize of the week for her Cher inspired Wicked Witch of the East performance. And the queens in this new challenge had to basically dust off the sewing machines and break out the hot glue guns for another fashion challenge. And based off of the iconic looks of an icon herself, Betsy Johnson. Now, before we get to the fashion challenge, let's get to the annual reading challenge, because reading is what? Fundamental. So the girls had to read each other, and I was like, well, all the shit y'all been talking on this damn show in the confessional, y'all better bring it with the read. And some of the girls, I was like, it was all right. Ariette, girl, it's funny. You got a whole lot to say about people, but girl, your reads was not that great. So, but before we get to the reads, once they got to the table, Anya basically asked which one of the non-winners was going to win this week. And so then Rue comes in, hello, 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 basically telling them the mini challenge. And then basically said, as I said, the library is open. And when they put the glasses on, you know who I immediately thought of? Remember Hollywood for Mannequin? That's what the shades was given. So they said that the shades were Party City reading glasses. I'm like, that is Hollywood from Mannequin, which I love that movie, by the way. And I'm a big, lover of cheesy 80s campy movies. So I knew immediately when I saw those glasses, I was like, yeah, it's very much Hollywood, played by Meshach Taylor. I think he passed away, right? May he rest in peace. Those are the glasses he wore in the movie. So then, some of the girls came for their sisters, and there was some laughs that came out, but I'm trying to remember. Then there was some crickets, of course, we had from some of the winners. I mean, some of the people. But the funniest one that I thought, first of all, I did like Lexi. Lexi was kind of funny in some ways. But yeah, Susie too. I was like, give it to her because her reads, I love a strategic queen, which is like, y'all know they're going to set it up for the punchline. And she definitely delivered on that. So I was living for it. So now, once they get to the Maxi Challenge, now they have to pay tribute to 60 years of Betsy Johnson's iconic designs, which, sidebar, I gagged because I had no idea. Now, this was what gooped me. I had no idea she was the very first designer to include trans women into her shows. Because I remember, you see Marco and so many others who incorporate trans women or include trans women into their runway shows. I never knew that Betsy was the first. And I've always lived for Betsy's stuff because she's very much New York. She's very much like West 8th Street, New York West Village vibe. Like she definitely gives that. And she's a New Jersey girl. She's a Jersey girl, as we say. I didn't say New Jersey, but Jersey girl. So they had to make outfits from 3 of her most famous collections. So now Susie, as she won the challenge, so she got to pick her category first. Now each category gets 3 queens. So Lydia picks Lexi to go first, which gags Corey. And I was shocked with that. So I was like, yeah, you didn't pick your caca girlfriend. That how you go and just not pick Corey? But then again, I'm just like, yeah, just because we hunching, sis, this still a competition. So it's like, I know that you was expecting that kind of favoritism. It's the same thing that happened with Jules Sparkle. She ain't pick Ariette. And I thought, oh, that's shady. That's supposed to be your girl. You ain't pick Ariette. Even when she got picked, which I thought was interesting. But Ariette, girl, first of all, she's a fashion girl. It don't matter where she would have placed in the situation. We already knew. Well, I knew. I'll say that she was going to come with something fierce in regards to the fashions anyway. So Ariette, she already had a design challenge win, so she's feeling confident about whatever she's going to work on. So that's why I was just like, I wasn't feeling no ways tired about Ariette or Ariette, however you say her name. But I call it Ariette. Let's call the whole thing or tomato. They work, So they had the trios. Lexi's basically struggling. She starts crying, and then Sam comes over and basically helps her try to get out of her own head, which I thought was cute and everything. The fact that they were coming in, she said, "I miss my calling as a coach because the way I be talking these bitches off the ledge in so many damn ways." And I'm like, "Yes, I live for it." But you know how them Southern girls are. It's like the way that they talk. It's like a read. You know, was another one I thought was pretty strong with their reads too. I like Sam, but it was like, yeah, definitely going back to the reading challenge. It was like, yeah, Susie basically was good in that. So now, because I know like Lexi is like, I'm a fashion girl, whatever, but I have yet to impress the judge because yeah, the tarp situation that happened, I was not feeling that outfit. And I will say this I was so glad this was the third fashion challenge, but this was the first challenge that Anya didn't get into it with another queen because the first fashion challenge she got into it with Jules with the stuff that she took from her, and apparently she was feeling the ways about that. Then her and Lexi got into it because she got paint on her damn tarp dress that she was going to be using, and so I'm glad this time she was caught up in her own situation. But we're about to get in her look and soon. So hold on for that. Buckle up, Buttercup. So then, while the girls are putting their clothes together and figuring things out and having their little breakdowns or whatever the case is, Mama Rue makes her way back into the workroom and says, "I have a guest, or we have company." And then Betsy Johnson comes into the room and helps the girls out and basically gives them ideas for their designs. So the girls come over to the table. I cannot believe Betsy is in her 80s and looks as fabulous as she does. And you want to know what I was living for too? The fact that I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but when she came out on the stage and she did a split, I'm like, yes, because back in the day she used to do like cartwheels and all kinds of other stuff. But her still being able to do a split at her age, this is why I always say aging number the damn number. This lady is an octogenarian and still out here bouncing around like a hyperactive bunny rabbit. Still got the energy of a teenager. So yeah, so Betsy comes into the room and basically gives them tips and guidances with their designs. So then they talk to Betsy about their collection trios, and they get to see how each of them plan to basically incorporate their aesthetic into their own design. Because it's easy when you can just go in and just make something and carbon copy it from her collection or whatever the case is, like 90s prom or 80s prom or the wedding looks and all that other stuff. So it's easy to kind of go in and do that, but it's like, no, how do you interpret it and put your own style and fashion into that? Which is what we want to see in a designer challenge. And look, I've been saying this for the longest. I don't care if y'all don't know how to sew, whatever the case is. The show been on for 17 damn years. Well, 18, 16 years, 17 seasons. Y'all need to know how to actually put a little something, something together. So the fact that y'all still up in here bitching and moaning about, oh, I don't know how to sew, whatever. And I love the fact that Betsy came in and was like, it doesn't matter. As long as it looks good or whatever, you could do whatever you want. You could use a hot glue gun. You could use a stapler. You could use whatever the case is. As long as you put the thing together and you don't see the imperfections in the dress and the design, who cares how you put it together? So even if you don't know how to sew, at least master the art of how to use a hot glue gun, which clearly when we saw Corey's dress, she ain't even mastered the art of the hot glue gun, or maybe that glue wasn't hot enough to hold up that hemline, that horrible hemline that she had in her pink dress, which she kept going back and forth on giving us something different. She's been given the same silhouette, short skirt, having a big ass and everything, instead of giving a gown. She should have mixed it up at that point. But we'll get into that in a second, the overall look. Because Corey kept changing her mind a couple of times. Because while she said she was going to go and do a short dress, which I thought was kind of cute in design, then the thing they kind of talked her out of it. She said she was going to do a long gown. Then she changed her mind again and was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and do it short. I'm like, sure. I said, Molly, you in danger, girl. The minute she said that, I was like, you are setting yourself up to failure. And when we saw that dress, I was right. So now after Betsy and Rue leave the Queens, Corey decided, as I said, to switch up her dress as the Rue called the original design out for being too similar to her yellow dress. So Sam helps out a few of the other queens, including Lydia, who creates based on feeling. So she has no real idea what she's making. Now, Anya is going big with her bow embellishments, but she keeps burning herself with a hot glue gun as she's trying to glue into the dress. Now, here's the thing what I had about Anya's dress. I was like, girl, why don't you do on the boobs, you have the big bow. Then you do like as you're going down, the bows get smaller. they looked like they were all the same size, which took away from the overall design. It was like a tube dress. She was doing the bows. The bows would have been cute, or you would have been safe, in my opinion, not in the bottom three. You would have been safe if you would have did a better placement with the bows. Also, the same fabric that you used for the bows on that tail in the back, I thought that was terrible too. It was just too much going on. The dress, it had a lot going on. I didn't like it. But then Jules, with her outfit, I think she sewed the fabric where she said it was upside down. So it literally looked like a two-tone look. It looked a mess. But you want to know something? She saved it because she put the fur and all the other stuff on, and it definitely look good compared to Lydia Butthole. I think we're trying to do this a similar aesthetic with the way the dress looked, like very much flapper back in the 20s and 30s, that whole vibe. But her dress was a mess. It wasn't as effective, in my opinion, as Jules' look. I just thought Jules was able to pull it off. So now, now we're gonna transform over to Elimination Day, and Arietta is basically feeling great about her look. Then Lexi is also feeling optimistic about her bridal look. Lana's excited that she finally gets to go to prom because, this gagged me. I forget how young some of these girls are. She said that she didn't get to go to her prom because it was because of COVID. So once COVID and everything was going on, a lot of people unfortunately did not have their graduation. So I think that maybe this was something that that Lana revealed when putting her package and everything together to come on the show. And this might have been an idea that they incorporated via production. So then that's a story that she could have told with people, or unless it was a happy accident. But I think this is all because it could have been in the package where he was like, oh, I never got to experience my prom and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And they took that idea and was like, let's just incorporate it into the episode. So now Lexi and Sam basically shared a moment by the mirrors where Sam tells how proud she is that she was able to turn out such a fierce look after her freak out, which I will agree. I loved Lexi's look. I just thought it was like one of the fiercest looks in there, but we'll get to the looks in a second. And Sam basically did her daily lovebird check in on Lydia and Corey while they put the finishing touches on their makeup and outfit. So yeah, they were really emphasizing on the whole the whole relationship between Corey and Lydia. It was kind of irritating me a little bit, but I was like, okay, I'll just go along with it for the show's purposes. So now we get down to the runway, where we still are questioning who is deciding Rue's runway looks. They've been a mess. I have not been feeling a lot of what Rue's been wearing lately. Those wigs look about as dry as Corey King's. Maybe they use the same wigologist. I don't know where these dresses are coming from. I don't know if all the budget for the show was spent on that badunkadunk tank, but whoever is working in the hair and wardrobe department, Rue, it's time to switch it up. You need a better designer, because these outfits this season have been a choice. So now on the main stage, Rue introduces this week's panel of judges, which is Michelle, Carson, and this week's extra special guest designer. Damn, I can't even talk. So we have Betsy Johnson as the special guest designer. So the queens basically strutted down the runway. And the first group is Punk Grunge Flappers, which was Jules, Susie, and Lydia. And based off of that look, I love Jules' look, which is here. I love this look. I definitely love Lexi's look. Ariette definitely did a great job. This look was a hot ass mess. You could literally see right here the hemline is just a mess, and she thinks serving body is enough. It's like, sis, serving body is not enough. And it was a good thing she changed them ugly ass shoes into these ugly shoes, but the dress was a mess, and the wig was a choice. Then they had the pink bow, and you want to know something? It was overall a mess. I thought Susie's look was okay. Anya, yeah, I agree. It's like it was just too much going on. The bow here was cute. This should have been a lot smaller. And this should have been like really tiny if he was going to put it here, because it just like doesn't accentuate her figure. And Anya is very good at like the figure and the padding and all the other stuff. Butthole was not, I was not feeling this look. It was ill proportioned. Funny enough, when I was looking at, I just feel like this is an excuse now for RuPaul to just say butthole, because Lydia B. Collins, butthole. So it's like, this is just your excuse. Just say it consistently. I feel like if there was an actual drinking game, and I don't know if people are doing it, but if it is, definitely let me know in the comments. If there's people out there that's actually doing a drinking game, every time RuPaul says butthole, you take a shot, we'd all have to go to rehab. So, but yeah, um, Lydia's gown, I don't know. It was like I said, it looked like it was like a take on the whole flapper era. It just didn't work. I just feel like when she was trying to, I guess, be similar to, um, oh my God, why am I freezing on her freaking name? I think she was going similar with this look, but this look was just not, because I know y'all can see the arrow in the camera. So she was trying to go similar with this look, but except this look pulled it off way better. And then of course we have Sam at the bottom. I don't know, it was giving me Madonna era 80s tees, kind of like with the shades and the big hair and the tulle dress. So I actually like that look. As well, Jewel Sparkles. I don't know why now all of a sudden it comes to me. So yeah, it was like she was trying to emulate a similar look to what Jules had, but it just did not. It wasn't. Jules did a better job executing her flapper era look than Lydia Boho Collins. So then Jules, Susie, and Lydia all strut in their slinky dresses, mismatched fabrics, and fringe. Then we had Corey, Anya, and Lana in their whole pink prom dresses. And then we had Sam, Lexi, and Arietti bringing Moody Bridal to the runway with the prenup collection. And Betsy closed the runway with her iconic split, which we were living for. So now, after the fashion show, Ru asked Susie, Lana, and Sam forward and tell them they're all safe. Now, critiques begin with Jules, and Michelle tells her she represents the collection beautifully, and the execution on her look was fantastic. Betsy tells her the look is the collection. Next, Michelle tells Lydia there's an idea with her look, but it's not quite finished, and the fit isn't great, so it takes away from the look. Carson tells Corey she needs more. She needed a more is more approach, and Michelle tells her that the finishing touches on her dress is a mess. Now, Michelle also doesn't love the construction of Anya's prom dress, and the other judges echo. Carson and Michelle both say Arietti's prenup wedding look is exquisite, and Betty calls it couture, and she definitely was giving couture. Now, Carson and Betsy both love Lexi's cute meets sexy bridal look, which Michelle and Ru also give top toots to. Now, here's the thing. Is it me? Or do we all miss the old Michelle Visage? Like, I need Michelle, the old one that used to throw shade during season 7. I need Michelle that actually, and I don't want her to have to make people cry, but I need her to come back. Like, remember the All-Star season where it was like, oh my God, why can't I remember this chick's name? And I see her in my head. Adore Delano. Remember when she quit? Because it was like, well, I thought you were gonna be like my mother and all this other stuff, and I thought you were a little too harsh on me or whatever. Like, I need old harsh Michelle back. Maybe that energy left when she took them titties out. But for the most part, I miss old Michelle Visage. Like, if you're not gonna come up, I'm not saying be crude for crude's sake, but give these girls constructive criticism. I just feel like that her and Ru are kind of phoning it in. Ru been phoning it in for years. I feel like, maybe Michelle's trying to go for this mother hen approach, but I do feel like if y'all not going to take that, if y'all don't want to step y'all pussies up to that mantle and deliver stuff that we want in the fandom, then bring people on that will. So let T.S. Madison come in and do it. She don't care. Let Law Roach come in every time y'all do a fashion challenge. Have him sit up there and let him be more approachable in that situation. So if y'all don't want to do it, bring new people in that are willing to kind of give us that energy, step their pussies up in that way, and give the entertainment that we need. I'm not saying that they got to be just mean for the sake of mean sake. Like, we don't need all of that. There was enough reality shows that did that back in the day. But I would like to see somebody kind of really go in and really critique these girls and not be worrying. I don't know if they're worrying about the fandom on social media or whatever the case is, but I just don't feel like y'all are as engaged like y'all used to. I feel like y'all tired, y'all exhausted, y'all over Drag Race. You're not inspired, and there's no energy there or no excitement. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me. If y'all feel the same way, definitely let me know in the comments. So now, following deliberations, Rue announced that Jewel Sparkles won the challenge, which I was happy for. Lex and Arietti basically were behind her in second and third place. Also, queens that were safe was Anya Nerve, which, here's the thing. I love Anya, but to me, I really think that it should have been Anya against Corey. I don't feel like um, Lydia's outfit was as bad as Corey's. I feel like that it should have been Anya, but I understand production, rigor. It's way more entertaining to have when you find out that two people on the show are a couple or became like a Kaka relationship. For the reality TV concept of it all in competition, you need to produce. The producers got to produce. So let's have Lydia Butthole Collins go up against her significant other on the show, the person she has a showmance with, and see which queen may the best woman win or may the best drag queen win, as RuPaul says now. So basically, as I said, Lydia Butthole was in the bottom. And they lip synced to Kiss Me Deadly by Lita Ford, which was an okay performance. And then, of course, we all gagged when it got to this point where Lydia and Corey started making out on stage. And I was like, look, first of all, if y'all thought that, like, let's bring this in, that this was going to be a double Shantae, I'd have been pissed because I ain't no way in hell that was worth a double Shantae. And after the lip sync finished and they were done making out, Mama Ruth basically saved Butthole from elimination and basically said it was Corey's time to sashay away, which it kind of makes me wonder how many people were actually roaring in with thunderous applause once Corey was eliminated from the show. I just know, like, people found her so polarizing on this damn show. But I will say this, Corey was thoroughly entertaining. So whether you love her or you hate her, she's very entertaining, way more entertaining than her drag mother Plain Jane. So she was really delivering. She was doing what needed to be done in regards to the show, and she makes good TV now. As far as like what will happen post Drag Race with her career, doing a lot of the shows and stuff, that is TBD. But for the most part, she did what she needed to do to solidify herself, to cement herself in our reality TV competition zeitgeist. So now when next week's episode comes up, they basically will have, it's now the top 8, which I thought this would have been the time for them to do Snatch Game during the top 8. But they're doing something called the Villain Roast with some of the show's most iconic queens that we love to hate. So that should be a good one. Isn't Candy Muse one of the girls? I don't remember. I don't remember who the other two were, but all I remember is I saw Candy Muse up there, and I said, I wonder if they came up with this because Candy Muse did House of Villains. So that was probably all around the time that they were filming it, and it just made it a part of the competition. So yeah, that's my update on my little, on Drag Race Season 17, Episode 9, Heavens to Betsy. So I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of the latest episode of Drag Race? How did you feel about the fashions? Which were your favorites? Which were your least favorites? Did they pick the right two to be in the bottom? Do you think that it should have been Corey versus Anya? Or do you think that Corey and Butthole were the perfect ones to be in the bottom? Because, for TV purposes, that's what it was good for because, shows got to produce and they got to do their thing. So they had her in there. It is what it is. And so I definitely want to hear from you. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.